Raw 11/10/25. War Games is going to be complete garbage, and Paul Levesque McMahon knows it. And it seems like he's given up on even trying to compete with Tony Khan and AEW's Blood and Guts. Blood and Guts is AEW's version of War Games. Blood and Guts is on Wednesday with two rings, double cage, double action, which is basically AEW's specialty. And Paul Levesque McMahon has to follow that up 2 weeks later with War Games. I don't give AEW many props, but I have to do it here because this is what they are good at. These type of wrestling events. And I know Paul Levesque McMahon ain't trying to play this game. You know what his response to Blood and Guts was? For the men's War Game match, we get the Bronze and Logan Paul, who just came back last week, mind you, but is out of nowhere in this War Games match, versus mid-event Jey Uso, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes. And I know you're saying to yourself, hey, I thought Cody Rhodes was on SmackDown. And you would be right to say that. How did he end up in a match with the Vision on Raw? This is a SmackDown talent who just happened to just come out of nowhere, and now he's up here in a Raw match and is going to be over here having a feud with the Vision, which he has nothing to do with. Paul Levesque McMahon takes things, throws them at the board, and just sees what sticks, and just hopes nobody pays attention or notices. Cody said he was there to see Cena in Boston, but ends up coming out to save Punk and mid-event Jay. And I'm telling you, this War Games match is nothing more than a glorified house show match. This is not a pay-per-view match, anything that you need to pay $30 for. You can seriously see this on Raw or SmackDown or even on a free house show. This is not something you would pay money to see. There is no story here. Cody has nothing to do with the Vision whatsoever, but here we are. This is Paul Levesque McMahon throwing random things at the board and seeing what sticks. This is like even more random than Shinsuke Nakamura and Rey Fenix tag teaming together just complete out of nowhere. He just makes things up as he goes, and it just makes no sense. This is Paul Levesque McMahon's answer to AEW's Blood and Guts. They have given up. Oh, and the shit show continues with the ladies. You think the women ain't getting none of this? So we got Lash Legend, Nia Jax, and the Kabukis versus Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky. This does not seem like an entertaining match. This is once again another glorified house show match giving to us as a pay-per-view. This is all it is. This is glorified. Lash Legend just got to the main roster, on Friday? And she's already thrown into a random War Games match? So you're telling me there is no other women in the back that you could have thrown into this match that could have used some shine? I mean, they could have threw Becky in here, but they got Becky over here wasting her time over here with Maxine Dupree, who can barely deliver a drop kick above somebody's knees. I mean, and then also, if you wanted to add Becky in here, you could have added Becky to the heels, and then you could have added AJ Lee to the faces, and then made this a somewhat halfway decent match. WWE has waved a white flag with this card. Because if this is what you're coming with to combat AEW Blood and Guts, you're completely cooked. You're done. People said this was a decent Raw, but I would beg to differ. Because if you take away the Cena Smoke and Mirrors stuff and you take away the Cena tournament matches, all we really had was a face versus face, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sheamus. Then we got Damian Priest versus Rusev. Then we got a brawl between Cody the Yeet Man, Punk, and the Vision, and the Kabuki Warriors take the belts from Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, which is once again more title changes just out of nowhere randomly. But this was Raw. So let's start the review. Let's get it out the way. So Paul Levesque McMahon kicks off the show, and he took over 8 minutes to introduce John Cena. Total grandstanding and trying to steal Cena's shine. Paul Levesque McMahon wants to be the face of WWE so bad, it is sickening. It took this man 8 goddamn minutes just to introduce Cena. Cena comes out talking about the tournament for his. This is the last time is now tournament, which is just really a vehicle for Gunther. I mean, if you want to be serious for it, this whole tournament is just a vehicle for Gunther to come back, be Cena's last opponent, get the W, and then I guess potentially get the IC belt. So Dom comes out and confronts Cena, and Dom actually cuts a halfway decent promo. I was like, okay, this is pretty good. He's going toe to toe with Cena. He says in any era he would beat Cena, and Cena comes back with, "Since I respect your dad so much, I won't beat your ass," basically, which I found pretty hilarious. So Paul Levesque McMahon steps in and books an IC title championship match on the spot, which I was shocked because I was like, oh my God, he's actually doing his job. So Cena beats Dom for the IC championship, and this made Cena a Grand Slam champ. Now you would say this is great, right? Well, yeah, this is great for Cena, but not for Gunther, who's going to be coming back. And so basically what it is so yes, he's going to get the W versus Cena, but then he's also being demoted to the IC belt. So you're trying to rebuild Gunther through the IC championship? Like this totally makes no sense. He was your world champion, and then you're trying to bring him back to rebuild him through the IC belt. Complete nonsense. So next up, we have Rusev Mashka versus Damian Priest. And Rusev beats Priest with the Mashka kick. So, and I'm like, hold it. Here we go again with the yo-yo booking. So Rusev loses 3 straight times to Dom, where Skinny Dom out-healed Rusev because it was heel versus heel. So Dom out-healed Rusev, and now you're trying to book Rusev as a dominant heel again. Or you're booking him as a face again. Once again, it's this tweener stuff. Nobody knows who's a heel. Nobody knows who's a face. So Priest, on the other hand, so Priest was a world title guy, and now he's been demoted back to the mid-card jobber. So none of this stuff makes sense. Like, this match was totally useless. Of course, Rusev was going to get the win. You've been doing nothing with Priest. So we go backstage. And Maxine says she's finally ready because, she was offered the. Now, this is how stupid this stuff was. A few weeks ago, Maxine was offered a title shot. Adam Pearce offered her a title shot, but she turned it down and said that she had to go train. So now 2 weeks later, she is done with her training, and now she is ready to take on Becky Lynch next week for the belt. This completely makes no sense. So Becky comes out and just beats up Maxine. And I really hope next week they really don't have do Becky dirty and have her lose the belt to Maxine, because I can see Paul Levesque McMahon doing something that's silly. This woman, Maxine Dupri, can barely deliver a drop kick above someone's knees, and you are trying to tell me she is someone to be taken seriously. And then on top of that, has to turn down title matches for later dates because she has to go train. None of this makes sense. So next up, we can see CM Punk in the ring, and he calls out Logan Paul, but the whole Vision comes out. So here comes Cody, Yeet Man, and Punk to fend off the Vision. And I told you, you take away the John Cena stuff, the smoke and mirrors. This show was garbage. Complete garbage. Once again, why is Cody even here? Next up, we got Stephanie Val versus Raquel Rodriguez for the championship belt. Stephanie beats Raquel to retain the title, and Nikki Bella turns on Stephanie like we didn't see this coming a mile away. So Nikki, who has been booked as a jobber on her Legends return, now is expected to be taken seriously in this feud with a woman that you are now booking as a dominant champion. How does any of this make any sense? We're going to revisit this later. We're going to revisit all this stuff later. I have some questions I want people to answer and put it in the comments. Next up, we have Sheamus versus Shinsuke. Sheamus wins and advances in the senior tournament. So this was also a complete waste of time because after the match, they sit there and shake hands. So I'm like, what is up with this Care Bear buddy stuff that where it's like this mutual combat? So it's like they have Gunther. Gunther is up here booked as this dominant heel, this diabolical guy, but then afterwards he's up here shaking people's hands like, "Hey, great match, man!" Like, once again, there is no distinction between heels and faces no more. Everybody operates as a tweener now. So this is why you got Cody using the belt and all this stuff to win titles. None of this stuff makes any sense. Main event: Kabuki Warriors. They beat Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair to become the new tag champs. Kairi Sane pinned Charlotte. So after the match, Lash Legend, Nia Jax, and the Warriors beat up Alexa and Charlotte. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky come out for the save, and then Rhea yells "War Games" in the mic. After they come off, they fend all the villains off. Rhea just comes out of nowhere and yells "War Games," but it's like I couldn't take it seriously because Rhea doesn't have the voice or the presence to deliver it in a serious tone, so it just ends up coming off as funny. So I said, "This is terrible. This is terrible." So I just have some quick questions because we really didn't need to spend a lot of time on this show. I just have some quick questions, and I want somebody to seriously be able to answer these things in the comment section. Uh, why is Lash Legend and Nia Jax together? Why is Alexa being used to elevate Charlotte to the belt? Why was Rusev booked as a jobber, but now is booked as a dominant heel or face again? Why was Nikki jobbing, but now we're expecting to take the feud with her and Stephanie seriously? Why is Shinsuke shaking hands after matches after being booked as a diabolical heel a few months ago? Why is Cody on the show? How did he just end up in this War Games match versus Division? None of this stuff makes any sense. If it makes sense to you, please put it in the comment section because I gotta hear your thoughts on this. Because this man, this War Games or aka Snore Games is going to be it's going to suck so bad. I can't stop laughing. But guys, I'm sorry. This whole card is terrible. But hey, guys, hey, my name is Mark from MD. This is Cut My Music Wrestling. Also, if you guys can please remember, like, comment, share, subscribe. That really help out the channel. Also, yes, please subscribe because we're trying to reach that goal of 100 subs, and I'm going to be doing a giveaway on the 100 subs milestone. So I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for the watch. Be safe.